Hey everybody. Uh, I decided to make a video to give some of my 2 cents to any of the prospective third party voters out there. People who are not happy with the Godzilla versus King Kong of old people that we have running in 2024 for the presidency of the United States of America. And for some, there's this argument that yes, both of them are bad about a certain thing, but one is incredibly worse, and so you should pick the lesser of two evils. But a lot of people, they are just fed up with having to pick the lesser of two evils, and they're just not going to do it. And there's people who every election make that same decision. There's a percentage of people that you just have to expect are not going to pick one of the two major parties for all of their decisions on who they're going to vote for. So I have this idea that I want to get across at the end, but I will say first, whether you think you live in a blue state, a red state, or a purple state, I think the 2016 election showed us that we don't know anything, and we can't trust any poll at all because everything can be looking like it's going in one direction, and then at the last second, poof, you're in a state that you didn't know was going to go the way that it did. So don't assume that you are in a safe state to do a protest vote, and that there is even a safe state to do a protest vote. I would say just vote your conscience, right? And on top of that, I want to point out that every election cycle there are unqualified write-ins that will get votes for different offices. And it could be sheriff, it could be president, it could be anything in between, right? At all levels, unqualified people get written in. And the one that most people keep track of is Mickey Mouse, right? How many votes did Mickey Mouse get? Now, in different generations, different parts of the country, it's a different person that we look at. Is it Garfield the cat? Is it SpongeBob SquarePants for the younger demographics? It's there are certain characters that will always get more votes in the unqualified candidate category. Darth Vader gets votes. Every election, Darth Vader gets write in votes. And you're allowed to write in whatever you want, even if in the end the person is deemed to be unqualified by the county clerk of the recorder or the state secretary of state, right? So that doesn't mean that they don't still take a record of these things. And many years, people vote anybody else or none of the above. They write that in the write-in spot. Now you can vote for everything else like normal and just do a write-in for a certain position, but those two terms, none of the above and anybody else, those are not unqualified people. Those are just terms that happened enough that the clerk and recorder or the secretary of state had to notice and make note that these terms are also things that people voted, right? And when they make these reports that come out every election cycle about, ooh, look at Mickey Mouse got a whole bunch of votes, they have to list these terms among them, right? So if I were a Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever person, and I was coming across the political landscape that the older generations like me created, I might use that to my advantage if I was thinking about a protest vote, right? Maybe actually write in what you want to see, right? And for a lot of people, especially the TikTok fed people, this means just write in Free Palestine, right? If Free Palestine got more votes than anybody else or none of the above, that would be a newsworthy thing that happened. That would show people that not no, it wasn't the Green Party or the Libertarian Party or whatever other third party that you found uh, swayed you over to them for their entire platform. It was that you would not vote for one of the two main parties because of that one issue, right? And maybe they would have to take a look at that and say, huh, if we want to bring those voters into the fold, we have to do more to ensure the safety of the people in Gaza, right? Or I consider it more of a foundational issue. I would say just write in ranked choice voting as your write in candidate. Because then they would have to see that the reason why you're not voting for these two people is because you're sick of having to vote for the lesser of two evils that have been winnowed down in the end as like the likely winners, and you would actually have uh, the ability to choose the person that you want without losing all of your say in the election because of you know the state of the two party system that we have in America. So I think that if I felt confident enough to vote my conscience and not write in one of those two major candidates for the presidency, I might write ranked choice voting. And you might have any other position that you would like to be well represented on the ballot but is not, right? And you might get a whole bunch of friends together and decide, hey, we're going to write in this one thing rather than a presidential candidate just to get on that list, just to know that, to have them know that like enough people could be swayed to just write this in instead of giving their vote to either of these people, you know? And really, like, if you're thinking support a third party candidate or and like try to get them from like 3% to like 5% this year. Um, what makes you think that a third party in a system that has like two parties that always control it, if a third party were to like overtake one of those two parties and then we had a different two parties in this adversarial voting system that we have, what makes you think that that party couldn't be also corrupted by, you know, political uh, spending, and corporations that buy our politicians? Like, get real. Like, just because the Green Party seems holier than thou doesn't mean that if the Green Party were in the place of the Democratic Party that they would be any better. They would be just as susceptible because they are human. Like, if you want to make an actual statement about what it is that has set you off this political season or like your whole life with politics, your chance to just write it in is right there. And they have to see it on this report right next to Mickey Mouse and Darth Vader and SpongeBob. So, shoot your shot. Show us what you got.